in the point of going no contact, collateral damage that does occur, and I call it collateral damage because there's sometimes good people, that when we go no contact, we have to make the decision of going no contact with them as well. So this can be family members, it can be friends, it can be work colleagues, whatever it may be, that we have to make the decision of going no contact. And once again, similar with going no contact, it's not an easy decision. Sometimes it is. Sometimes we do clearly know that this is not going to be a safe person for us. Because definitely in any form of narcissistic dynamic or relationship, there are people surrounding, be it family, friends, work colleagues, whatever it may be, that will start to be turned into what's termed as flying monkeys or abuse by proxy, where it is people that you considered good people, as in the fact of they are, but they start getting turned or manipulated against you to serve the narcissist. So it's kind of like a reverse triangle. You're the top of it, and all the flying monkeys funnel that information down into the narcissist as a form of control, as a form of manipulation. So they're still in control of your life, but they're just using people in your life, and they have no loyalty to these people. But similar to a one-on-one dynamic, you're a kind of a source of supply in a way. Once supply and demand runs out, your use then runs out as well. There are people within a radius, kind of like almost like a blast zone, that you have to consider either there for you or more there as a potential source of supply. And these are also decisions to make, and sometimes you can't safely make a clear cut of that, because you start to find, well, some of what I've said here or some of what I've posted there seems to show up elsewhere, or how did they quite know that sort of thing? It's like I had none of that conversation with that person. It's like suddenly they're aware of what I'm doing now, or they seem to be very interested in different aspects of my life that they were never interested in before. It's like you suddenly become almost like a person of interest in a way, where they want to ask you questions that they never really asked you before. And these can be personal questions, financial questions, all these sorts of questions about your relationships with others, questions that are really just ways to eventually funnel in to then turn your persona, your image of yourself against, to once again make you look like the bad person, to make the narcissist feel like, I'm the innocent victim here. It becomes almost a predictable thing in a way, but once again, you can't predict who's going to be the safe people, who's actually going to be there for you, and who's not going to be there, in the sense of being there for you for information or being there for support. And definitely if you've had a lot of trust issues because of this abuse, or if people are showing, once again, kindness, and it's like, oh, I've got a kind person sort of thing, is this a kind person? Once again, because of that abuse, you start to question a lot of your reality, because you've had your reality turned upside down. So similar to just cutting contact with a narcissist, sometimes it's not easy, once again, but it does make a lot of decisions of going forward in life not easier, but a little less mucky to actually decide, is what I'm having this conversation with this friend, is this friend actually relaying this information back? Which leads us to boundaries. Boundaries are something for definitely people that have been people pleasing, just had their value just devalued and just disrespected by people that just have no worth in themselves. They will quite easily cross your boundaries, and they're not too interested in respecting you. It's kind of like you could go, well, I'm drawing this line in the sand, and next thing you know, they're in your house, like taking all your valuables again. It's like, well, didn't you see the line in the sand? It's like, well, no, I was just more interested in like taking what's yours so I could have it for myself. being firm in protecting your self-worth, protecting who you are, knowing that you have worth, that your voice carries authority, that no matter how they doubt or want to cast doubt or cast their little web of mind screwing with you, that you hold firm to reality. Like I've had people that they'll abuse or demean a person and then start saying, well, you know, you need to not close all the doors to your heart, or you not need to close your heart, sort of thing. And probably if you're recovering from trauma, there's going to be a point where you do start to open up a bit, as far as like not be in such a defensive mode, sort of thing, as far as like perceiving everything as a threat. And that's just through a natural journey in recovery. That can't be asked. It's like me saying, can you trust me, sort of thing. It's like trust is an earned thing. It's like you learn to trust someone because they show trustworthy attributes. So you can't just ask someone to open their heart or open the doors to their heart, because in a way that closing of the doors is necessary. That is a boundary. Those closed doors around your heart is you saying, I can't take it anymore, leave me alone. It's your shield. And to ask that of someone, the healing comes down to the person. It's like, I can't heal for someone else. So closing your heart is just a response to actually receiving abuse. To people that have given the abuse, if they're giving that advice, I would say keep your doors closed. Do not let the thieves in. Because it's kind of like asking permission to enter your house so you can do what you want, sort of thing. You kind of need to keep those doors closed whilst you develop yourself, whilst you grow, whilst you heal. If they're still knocking at the door, they may tire eventually and go find another source. Sometimes that shielding of oneself is necessary. Whether you carry it throughout your life is dependent on the person. You can get more emotional freedom by, yes, dropping some of these defenses and that, but we don't want to also be defenseless. We want to be able to stand up for ourselves. We want to have a voice for ourselves. And if we're completely being big-hearted people, where we're just displaying our big heart to the world, sort of thing, as a target, or if we're completely defenseless, then we're easy pickings once again. I mean, if you look at martial arts, people might look at it as, oh yeah, then I can beat up someone. But it's a self-defense. It's defense of oneself. It's defending yourself. So you don't go looking for trouble. It's just when trouble finds you, you know how to protect yourself, which means then putting up these shields to firm your boundary. It's not a case of like, well, I'm this big-hearted person that's opened all the doors, sort of thing. Come right in, sort of thing. The valuable stuff is over here. Help yourself. You're devaluing yourself in that way. It's probably not the best advice, but how you can actually interpret that in a healthy way is if you're being weighed down, or if you have a negative view of your world around you. As I've said before, it may be because of the negative things that have happened to us, and we perceive a lot of things as threats, which in a way is a healthy thing, because that survival, it's keeping you safe, it's keeping you alive. But living that life constantly, like perceiving threats, there's a lot of energy that goes into that could be living with a little bit more emotional freedom and expansion into one's life, but also maintaining your sense of worth, your sense of boundary. You can't completely go no contact with everyone and expect that, you know, you've cleared all the landmines from the field, but knowing how to navigate that through learning about how to heal yourself, how to what works best for you, how to navigate your life forwards, where we don't get ourselves into explosive relationships or explosive family dynamics or whatever it is, bosses and that. You decide what's in your best defense to actually to give out and let in. It's like a door sort of thing. You just don't leave it open for anyone to wander in. I'm Dan from Eflowtion Support Services. Thank you very much for listening and commenting and viewing and subscribing. and just being awesome people that actually give a damn about themselves and want to give it a go, and are trying out EFT tapping, and just listening, holding a space for my words. And so yeah, I'm from Eflowtion Support Services, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.